Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, happy live stream. I see several people are here already. I hope you are having a good day. Let me know if you can hear me and if everything's working well. This is my first live chat. Welcome, Anne. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me. Okay, you can. Okay, awesome. All right, well, thank you all for being here. And sorry, I'm just trying to make sure my chat is working because I am looking on my iPad. I think it's working. Okay. All right, awesome. So what I'm gonna go ahead and dive in. Usually I chat for a little bit, but I don't know how long this is going to take, and I'm really hoping that we can get this done in the whole stream. We'll see. But I am going to be working on the 1/2-inch furniture kit. All I'm going to be doing is the bed today, and this is a kit by Deanne Ruff, and this was actually sent to me by Kim, so thank you, Kim. I'm also going to be using a fabric that was sent to me by another Kim, so thank you, Kim, for the fabric. And Deanne, I got in touch with Deanne because I talked about this kit in the last live stream, and she was so kind and generous to give me permission to share this pattern with you because she's no longer selling this kit. And she said she just celebrated her 90th birthday, so happy birthday. And she has had a long career in miniatures, and she's just really enjoyed working in the miniature field, and so just so generous. So everyone make sure to say thank you to Deanne. And she actually on her email said a different, she went by the name that starts with the D initial, but I'm going to call her Deanne because that's what her professional name she goes on by her kits. Also, I have linked her website in the description box below. She still sells a few things on there, and I will talk about one of the things she sells a little bit later on. So, yay! I see so many people are here. Greetings from snowy Germany. Ooh, that sounds really pretty. I'm sure it's cold, but it sounds really pretty. In Philadelphia, is it snowy in Philadelphia? I'm feeling down because I'm sick, but happy now that I get to watch it live. I'm so sorry you're feeling sick. I hope you feel better soon. So I am going to be trying to make this design 70s if possible. And if you follow my Instagram or my Facebook, I ended up putting up a little like voting thing, and I got so many responses. It was a little bit like, I thought there would be one that was like overwhelmingly chosen, but really it was kind of all over the place. And so I think the ones that I saw the most was B and D on that little voting thing. And I decided to, or no, sorry, B and C. B and C. And so I decided to go with C, and I'll tell you why. Because many people were saying that B looked the most 70s, but I'm going with C because I decided I want the room to be brown, and one of the fabrics in option B was brown, and I felt like it would just blend in too much. So I'm going with the greens. Yes, this is half scale or 1/24 scale, which means 1/2 inch equals a foot in real life. So very tiny. And this is for my Fairfield project, which is right here. So this is the fabric combination that I'm going with for this bed. So for this pattern, you need a patterned fabric and a solid fabric. And I'm learning I don't really have like a ton of solid fabrics. So I have lots of pretty patterns, but I don't have a ton of solids. So I kind of had to pull out my solids and see what patterns I had to go with it. And this was a fabric that was sent to me by Kim. So thank you, Kim, for that. All right, so this pattern I have put in the description box below, and I feel like I've been studying for 2 days, 2 full days in order to do this because it's a totally new process. I've never done this before. Usually when I'm making something on stream, it's something I've designed, and I feel like it's in my head already, so it's so much easier to go through. But when I'm going with somebody else's kit, it takes a little bit longer for my mind to process it. So at the end of this live stream, y'all can give me a grade on how well I studied. I feel like I'm studying for an exam right now, and this is the test to see if I did well enough in my studies to get this going. So if you download the pattern, I did find my patrons were downloading it yesterday, and if they were on a tablet, it wasn't downloading very well. If you download it from a PC, it seems to work well from there. So if you're wanting to download this and try this out, I highly suggest doing it on PC. But I'll show you everything that comes in that little downloadable, it's like a PDF packet. So I'll show you everything that's in there. So this is the fabric cutting sheet, and it looks really complicated, but I sat down and I studied, and I will kind of help you think through it and know which parts you need to pay attention to. Wish I could stay, have to drive Miss Daisy to the store. Bye all. Bye Cam, have a good drive. It's in the description box of this video as well, so you don't have to go to Patreon. You can get it here too. So if you go in the description box underneath this video, you can download it. So it's not just patrons, but patrons had access to it yesterday. You can also get it if you open the description box of this video, you can get the pattern. Okay, so this has numbers on it. So this has like a 1, there's 2 pink pages, or no, there's 3 pink pages. And those are going to be the directions for how everything goes together. And I will be, like I said, going through that. And then there are 4 white pages that actually have the direction or the patterns on them. And you want to print the white pages on cardstock. So if you're printing these, go ahead and print these on cardstock, and then you can print these, or you can just leave them on your computer because you don't want to have to print a bunch of pink ink. But yeah, so you actually are going to have a little bit of an altered pattern because what I did, the way Deanne designed this kit was really smart because she shows you how to go from start to finish and the most efficient way to make every single piece in this kit. But I am only making the bed. So what I did is I went through and there were pieces for another item here, and I just whited it out so that you really only have the pieces for the bed. Because I think that's what was kind of confusing me a little bit, is there were so many pieces for so many different things, and because I was only wanting to do one item, I was kind of scatterbrained all over the place. So what you have, so that's why you'll see there's nothing down here because I whited it out, and I whited out some directions up here that don't have anything to do with the bed. So I'm hoping this makes it a little bit more straightforward on just creating the bed. So all of these need to be on cardstock. So if you want to enlarge this to 1/12 scale, you would need to print it at 200%. So when you go into your printer, do 200%. You may have to move it around to get all the pieces to print correctly. But then I would suggest, instead of putting it on cardstock, to put it on chipboard, which is going to be a little bit thicker. Or trace it onto chipboard, and that'll give you the thicker pieces. So I think you might have to download it to PC to get the pattern, unfortunately. But I will try, if I still see a lot of people having problems with it, I will try and upload just the JPEGs of this after the stream. But hopefully it works. All right, so let me start from the beginning. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'm going to try my best to balance working on this and answering questions, but then Rachel also helps me see questions that are pertinent to what we're doing at the moment. So hopefully that will work. All right, so I'm going to break down this sheet first, which is the fabric cutting sheet. Now this sheet looks confusing because it's for every single item in this entire kit. So what I have done is I have highlighted all the pieces that have to do with the bed. So I've highlighted all these pieces, and this is by me going through the directions and finding every time during the bed directions that it says I need to cut something out. So it's not highlighted on yours. So I did that afterwards because I thought about it at the end. I was like, oh, I should probably highlight what I'm doing here. All right, so now that you know we're looking at the highlighted pieces, let me break down what these charts are showing. So this top rectangle is the patterned fabric. So it's this fabric right here. And this bottom piece right here is representing the solid fabric. So that's what it's showing you here. So this is all the pieces you're going to cut from the patterned fabric. This is all the pieces you're going to cut out of the solid fabric. And then down here, this is, it does mention that you need some foam. I don't have any foam right now, so I'm going to be using quilt batting. It says you need like 1/4 inch foam, so I'm just going to build up my quilt batting until it's about 1/4 inch. So that's what I'm going to be using for that. And then it also says muslin, and there wasn't any muslin in the kit, so I am just using, I think I ran out of muslin, so I'm just using some white fabric, some simple white fabric. So that is what we have going on here. Now let me break this down further because she has broken it into several parts. She is showing you a, let's see if I can find it, a 12-inch by 22-inch piece of fabric, and she is showing you how to cut it out so that all your patterns are going the same way, and the easiest way to cut it out. So I have over here, this section says unfused. This section is fused. So you may be asking, what does fused and unfused mean? So in the kit, there is this stuff, which is called Wonder Under, which is basically a sheet of fabric glue. So for a while, it's like trying to figure out how I was going to use this stuff. So it's a sheet of fabric glue that has like wax paper on one side and then the glue on the other side, and the glue is heat activated. So what you're doing when you have a fused part of the fabric is you are ironing this fabric glue sheet onto the back of these items. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on that. This is super cute. I'm really excited to be able to catch it live. Hi, Jen. I just came from the hospital. Oh my goodness, I hope you're okay, Marius. All right, so all of these pieces need to have that glued fabric on the back. Now I went ahead and did this. I have one that I have not glued on yet, so we can do that together. But I went ahead and did most of these so that you can see what that looks like. So what I did here, so this was one part where I think maybe it was labeled wrong. We needed CD1 and there's CB1. So I think that's the right piece. We'll see. So this is the Wonder Under. And because I'm not doing all of the pieces, I just went ahead and cut out the sizes that I needed. And then, so I put this on my little ironing thing like this. And then you just iron with the wax side up. so that your iron doesn't get the glue all over it. So this is the wax paper side up, and then you iron it all down. And I'm using my Clover iron, but I think a bigger iron works better because I had to sit and hold it for like 10 seconds on each spot. So a bigger iron works better, but I don't have a bigger iron at the moment, so I'm just using the smaller one. So that gets glued on there, and then what you have left is this piece of fabric that has this like glue ready to go. And then I found it was easy to get the wax paper off if you like bend the corner, and then it kind of comes off like a sticker. So you can pull, once you've got it ironed on, you can pull the wax paper off, and then you glue this on here, or you put the iron on the top of the fabric, and you basically have fabric with glue already on the back of it. So that's how the Wonder Under works. In theory. I haven't done this yet. I'm just trying to explain the process. All right, so you might be wondering how I got the measurements for each individual piece. You will notice down here, it says scale 1/4 inch equals 1 inch. She's marked out these 1/4 inch marks at the bottom, so you can figure out how big each piece needs to be. So I can take this, I'm doing the CB one right here. It's an inch long, which means it's got 4 1/4 inch marks on it. So that's going to be 4 inches by 3.5 inches. So you're just basically figuring out how many 1/4 inches there are, and then you can measure how big the pieces need to be. So, oh, and then the bottom part, she divided up different. So this is the unfused. So unfused just means regular fabric. Regular fabric with none of the Wonder Under glue on the back. And then this bottom part right here is the fused part. So this all has the Wonder Under stuff on it. Wonder Unders are too tight. All right. So we have all of the fabric pieces figured out. Let me show you. If you are doing this along with me and the whole like measuring things out is not for you, I have written everything out here. I'm sorry, I should have rewritten it because my handwriting is kind of not the greatest. But so for the patterned fabric here, I have the unfused fabric and the fused fabric, and I wrote out with the inches so that I could cut it out without having to look at the back at this chart. So for the patterned fabric, these are what you're going to do: unfused, which means just regular fabric, and fused. And then down here, this is the solid fabric, and sorry, I had to write fused really small because I forgot to write it. So this is unfused and fused. So this tells you the sizes of the fabric that you need to cut. And then I put the names of each piece, and I just wrote that on the wax paper. And that's for the solid fabric. So you can just like screenshot that if you want to. And then for the foam quilt batting, I'm going to cut this once I get to that part. And then for the muslin, this is the sizes that was on there. So here's these. Let's see if I can get the whole thing on the on the screen. You can just screenshot that and you'll have the sizes of the fabric for your thing. So and if you, let's see, if you're doing 12 scale, you're going to have to double these. So this would be 8 by 16, I guess. All right. Now we've gotten past the fabric part. Hopefully. Let me know if you have any more questions. So this is why I had to study for like 2 days straight on knowing that I was getting everything correct. I mean, it's a good kit, and it makes sense if you're doing everything in order, but it just takes a while to wrap your head around a new technique and new materials. So that Wonder Under thing, it's similar to the fusible interfacing we use in the fashion industry. I think that might work too. I'm sure it's just a certain brand, so it may be just the fusible interfacing. It may be something similar to that, just maybe a certain brand that she really liked. So now we're moving on to the instructions. Take a deep breath. I'm going to take a drink after explaining the fabric part. All right. So you can give me a grade on did I explain the fabric part correct or not. I guess we'll see once we get to the putting it together if I did it correct or not. All right. So let me find the patterns. So these are not on cardstock because I already cut out my cardstock pieces, so we could go kind of quickly and hopefully get things, get something built in this stream. So I already cut these out, but I'm going to show you where they are on the pattern. So this says cut out fused gray headboard. So she's also going to talk about fused as in glued. So you can use the Wonder Under. I just use glue for this. So anytime I saw fused, also I interpreted it as glued. You're such a great teacher. Thank you for all the work you put in to make everything understandable. Well, thank you. I hope it's working. Yes. So 1/24 scale will be 100% for this. 1/12 scale would be 200%. If you wanted to go 1/48 scale, that would be 50%. So you'd print this at a 50%. All right, so I just glued, and when she says gray board, she's talking about chipboard. So, and that was actually in the kit, was this chipboard. So that's how I knew what that was. So I just glued this pattern to some chipboard, and it's ready to go. So this says cut out fused gray headboard. So that's what this is. It's just fused or it's glued to some chipboard. All right, place the B1 sheet of Fuse It white side down, cover with fused fabric. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to find the B1 sheet. So I can look on here. This is going to be my little guide. So B1 is going to be one of my solid fabric pieces. I already fused all of my fabrics that need to be fused. So let me find B1. Now this is the part I haven't done yet. So we're going to do this together. So here is B1. You can barely see it. Once you start gluing the wax paper onto, or the Wonder Under onto the fabric, it'll kind of get a little bit see-through. That's how you know that the glue is kind of melting into the fabric, and then it's harder to see. But I do have B1 written on there. So now this kind of becomes like a sticker. Yes, welcome to everyone who just got here. We are making a complicated but fun kit. So we're just going through it bit by bit. So you can see the side that has the Wonder Under or the fabric glue on it. So this is what I am going to be gluing onto here. So it does become kind of like a big sticker, fabric sticker. So I haven't done this part yet, so we're going to try this out. All right, so now I'm just going to take my iron, and this is a little ironing board that I made. It was in one of my Addams Family doll videos. I knew I needed just like a tiny little ironing board for my desktop, and it's just a piece of basswood and just a bunch of quilt batting on top of it covered with some fabric, and I just glued that down, and that's my little ironing board, and it's so nice just to have on my desktop. So I do think she says to hold it down for 10 seconds or so. Oh yes, someone did say to put this underneath here. I'll have to do that so I don't fuse my my fabric to my ironing board. So now that's stuck on there. The glue melted and now it's been stuck down to here. Then she says, trim 1/8 inch from the edge / curved edges, clip corners. Okay, so this is a basic upholstery technique. So I'm just gonna go around with my fabric scissors. And we're gonna have our first piece upholstered pretty quickly. So it's quite a bit of prep work getting everything cut out and glued together. But after you get that done, I'm guessing it goes together pretty quickly. So it's just the process of prep work. So I'm just gonna clip this. Hopefully this will work okay. We shall see. So sorry I'm not getting to interact very much. I'm trying to focus so hard. Oh, thank you for the super sticker, Sharon. Sharon A. Zamboni. Yeah, the tiny iron is a clover iron. And I do have to say, if you do invest in a tiny iron or a clover iron, do make sure that you are very careful with it. They get incredibly hot, which is why I don't think I'm having to wait 10 seconds because they are just really, really, they are tiny, but they are mighty for sure. All right, so the nice thing about this Wonder Under being on here is that I really don't have to add any glue. So I do definitely see the benefit of this because when you add glue to fabric, you always risk the glue kind of seeping through the top of the fabric, and this won't do that because it's meant for the fabric. I am trying to be careful because I don't want to get my fingers in the way of the iron. We don't want any burns today. Please no. So I'm just going to go around and I'm using my iron to kind of push it over the edge. And so this will be interesting. So I'm just going to have to be really careful. I don't see how you would do this very easily with a big iron because these pieces are so incredibly tiny. So that would be probably pretty difficult. I managed to download. Oh, okay. I'm glad you got that, Wendy. Yeah, this part of it definitely needs some more protection. And I saw somewhere, I was so excited because it does scare me a little bit how hot they get. And I was excited because someone said, oh, I bought this, it was like a hair curler. Like, you know, you put the hair curlers in and then there's a clamp that goes over the hair curlers. Well, someone bought one of those and put it here, and it did. It fit perfectly. But as soon as I turned the iron on and it got hot enough, it melted this plastic curler iron over it. So it didn't protect my hands for very long until it melted. Thank you for the super sticker, Peaches. I got some heat resistant gloves. Oh, that's smart. That would be really a good idea. Especially on these little bitty half scale pieces. They're so tiny. So if I have any pieces sticking up, I'm just going to kind of manipulate it with my iron. And so that's coming together pretty well. You can see the scalloped type edge there. All right, so I think we're to like a part where I can actually like see what y'all are up to. Is anyone working on anything today? Or is anyone planning on making this pattern? Does anyone have a half scale house that they're going to make a bed for? Is this my first? This is my first half scale bed? I think so. Yeah, I don't have any other beds for the Fairfield right now. All right, so I think I got most of that done. I'm going to clip off the edges. And there we go. I'm going to go over the corners one more time now that I've clipped the edges off. And the Wonder Under made that pretty quick and painless, I think. So pretty nice, no glue showing through because of the product, so I think it's pretty good. I'm making family Christmas cards for my family. That's awesome. I need to do that. I have a half scale house and I'm looking for another. I'm really enjoying the half scale. Finally working on the fireplace room. Got my first doll room kit. It's half scale. Working on embroidery of Gonzo for Christmas for my husband. Let's see. Not working on minis, but I am working on my new hobby, copper jewelry. Ooh, that'll be really pretty. I'm working on the French doors for my 1/16 scale house. Oh, there's an alarm going off. Hold on. You plan to make the bed? Okay. I'm working on a half scale pit bull while watching. Wow. I build half scale kits from Mayberry Street collections. I modify them a lot. I'll use this pattern for sure. I didn't know Mayberry did half scale. That's interesting. I'm interior decorating my half scale ground floor, making a working fireplace. That's awesome. All right, sorry. I lost the chat. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me move on to the next part. So now I'm going to do B2, which B2, for some reason, in the kit was printed on just regular paper, and I don't know if that's so that it's really thin, but I think B2 is, nope, that's B3. No, B2 is solid also. Okay, so here's B2. So I don't know why it's like this, but so this will be a little bit harder, I think, to upholster because it is paper. So with the chipboard, which I actually was going to tell you, I think you could use, what am I thinking? Cereal box material. I think you could use cereal boxes and it would work just fine. So you don't have to go out and buy craft chipboard. And then for any time I'm using this fusible fabric, you can use fabric glue. You'll just have to be careful that you don't put too much glue so that it kind of seeps through. What is the device you are using to switch camera angles, or is it an app? I'm using StreamYard, so I can just click and it just changes the layout. All right, so save this piece that I just pulled out, and I guess I'll do it this way. Do it this way so that I don't glue it to my ironing board here. And then I think I'm just going to upholster it the same exact way. So you can kind of look at the picture of the bed and figure out how everything goes together. And so that's why I made sure to add the front of the kit to, I think it's the 4th page of the patterns, because there was a lot of space after I took out some of the other pieces. So that you could know who the creator of the kit was, and also so that you could see the picture of the bed, because I find a lot of times you need to see what it looks like to know actually what you're doing. StreamYard and 1 camera or 2. So this that you see me on is my iPad, which works really well because it also shows me the chat. And then my this camera right here that's above me is an actual camcorder, and it is plugged into my computer. So my computer is running one camera and it's over there, which I cannot see the chat from this far away. And then this camera here is my iPad with the chat so that I can see y'all up close. Happy holidays. Yep, I did my nails for Christmas time. Although we're still, well, I guess we're doing like a green bed, so red and green. So kind of a holiday themed stream. I'm just not very good with keeping up with the seasons. Like even when I had like a store where I made things, I used to, so what I used to do, I don't do it anymore, is I would go to garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, and I would buy old broken nutcrackers. And I would kind of strip them down, sand them, take off all the clothes, and you'd be amazed at how gross old nutcrackers are. Like just so much gunk like builds up on those things. Anyway, I had to wear a mask because it was just so like, well, there was particles and everything in the air while I was doing it. So I would take them and basically strip them down to their wood form, and then I would repaint them to all sorts of different things. So I did like steampunk, I did skeletons, I did zombies. Zombie nutcrackers were like my big seller. So like I had like a holiday based craft that I was doing, and I was still bad at getting them ready on time for. I'm not seasonally oriented, I guess. It sneaks up on me too much, I guess. I don't know. But this year is the first year that I've actually like put up my own nutcrackers, because in the past I've always just had them for sale. And this year, and it's funny because I was never a nutcracker collector. I know there's some diehard nutcracker collectors out there, but I never was. I just enjoyed repainting them into something new. And this is the first year I've actually put some of my own nutcrackers. They're just what was left in my inventory. But I let my kids kind of pick out one that they liked. And so my son has like a Minecraft villager nutcracker that he really likes. I did some anime type ones with anime eyes, and then I took the original nutcracker hair and I colored it to these really fun bright colors, and then like took glue and kind of made it spiky like in the anime cartoon type look. And so those were really fun to make. I'm working on Falcor, Luck Dragon at the moment. Yay! I love that. All right, so I think making all these headboard pieces is going to take a while. That's okay. We're going through one bit at a time, and this is why I'm so glad I cut out everything ahead of time. After I ended up looking at the pattern, I was like, I am going to have to do quite a bit of this beforehand if we are going to get this done in the live stream. Very, very detailed. I mean, obviously the results are worth it if you look at the pictures. Okay, so it's very difficult to upholster this piece of paper. So I would suggest doing all of the paper prints on cardstock at least, because this is just printer paper, which is what it was on when I opened the kit, and it is incredibly difficult to upholster. I just feel like there's nothing to kind of push the fabric against because the paper is so bendy. Have you ever thought of doing Never Ending Story? I'll be honest with you, I remember loving Never Ending Story, but I also know that I have not seen it since, I don't know, maybe 3rd grade or so. I know that Sharon from Where the Gnomes Live made one recently, and I remember Falkor being like my favorite, one of my favorite characters. Obviously. I think it's everybody's favorite character. But it's just been so long since I've even seen the movie. All right. So that was a little bit more difficult to upholster, but I think it kind of goes like this. So it kind of gives it like a double upholstered look. Let's see if you can see that. So you could probably leave some of these parts out if you didn't really like them, if you wanted to. All right, so now I'm going to, press the piece of the headboard to the back of the headboard. So she wants me to glue it. Put a piece of Wonder under and press the printed side. Cut out fused headboard lining along the printed side. Press this piece to the back of the headboard as lining. Oh, this is lining for back here. Oh, okay. So this is lining the back of the headboard. Okay, so it doesn't have to be as pretty. All right, so there we go. So I am just going to glue it. I'm not going to try and cut out a piece of the Wonder Under stuff. I'm just going to glue it. So it says fuse. Fuse means glue, and you can kind of choose your own glue however you want. I am using some Fabrifix glue because it glues pretty quickly, and it's, it works with fabric pretty well. So this is the back of the headboard, and I guess this is if you want to put your bed in the middle of the room, you want the back of the headboard to look nice as well. All right, so that's the back of my headboard. All right, so that's why it didn't have to be so detailed, and that's probably why it was on paper. So that makes more sense to me now that I've gone through it. And I've read these instructions like 3 times already, and I'm still finding things. You're good. I'm a learn as I do. Bye, Pamela. Let's see. How late am I? I swear I only got the notification a few minutes ago. I'm sorry. We have been going for about 40 minutes. Have we really been going for 40 minutes? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you for still being here. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So now we are going to move on to B3 and B4, which are going to be the decorative pieces of the headboard. And I guess they go inside of each other like so. All right, so let me find the, okay, so B3 is a patterned piece. Is that this piece? Okay, so this is the piece I was gonna show you how I glued it on here. So this is B3 from here. So I cut out this piece from the Wonder Under material, and I'm just going to show you how I put this on here. So one side of the Wonder Under is very textured, and then the other side feels like wax paper, and that's the side I wrote the pattern number on. I'm going to glue this to the wrong side of the fabric. So the right side of the fabric is face down. I'm not really paying attention to which direction my pattern's going, but if you're doing something like stripes, you probably do need to pay attention to that. So when I was doing this, I was using my entire sheet of fabric, but I just cut this out so you could see it on screen. So I'll show you how you can kind of tell when it starts to take hold. So you can see you can still move it around pretty good. And I'm just going to start in one corner and press it. And Deanne suggested 10 seconds, but my iron is pretty hot and I can already see it's taking hold, and I'll show you what it looks like as it takes hold so you know. It's a little bit easier to see on darker fabrics. I could tell on the darker green when it was taking hold. So you can see the difference that this has not taken hold yet, and this has. This is stuck on. You can see the pattern start to come through it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how much Wonder Under is to just purchase it. I'm not quite sure, but I do think it has a lot of use in miniatures. There was part of the instructions I was reading that she suggested if you have a material that you don't want to fray, you can put this on the back side of it and it won't fray. And so that's really great to know, because especially when I'm doing like small clothing for the dolls, there are parts that I have to fray check, and it's so annoying because I still feel like it gets a little frayed as I'm doing it. So I could possibly back it with this Wonder Under stuff, and then I won't have to worry about it fraying down the line. So I might try this. I have quite a bit left over. I'm not sure how many pieces I'm going to make from this kit. I might make a few more, but there's a lot in this kit, and there's going to be extra. Oh, Sean says it's $8.81 on Amazon. That's not too bad. And I'm sure you'll get quite a bit for that. All right. So that's glued on. So she suggests that you just fuse an entire section, and then you have like extra material you can grab from that's already fused. But I liked doing it this way because I felt like I saved more of the material. And so then I just cut around the very edge, and I use this as the pattern for my pieces. And I put the patterns closer together on my fabric. This was just to show you. And then I have my B3 piece with the Wonder Under attached to the back. So it's not expensive and can be bought in pre-measured packages or yardages from places like Joann's. It's often used for appliques. Yeah, she also mentioned appliques as well. So if you're wanting to get like little tiny details with fabric and the fabric's just like falling apart, this could be a great item just to have in your inventory. All right, so now I'm going to, I found the best way to get this off, I showed you a little bit earlier, is I fold this corner in, and then once I do that, the wax paper starts to come away from the fabric. Nope, I don't think I've fused that long enough in that corner. I'm going a little bit quickly here. You'll probably want to make sure you take your time and glue it down as much as possible. I'm going to be building the Fairfield in January, and your videos have been so helpful. I'm sure I'll be binge watching them again. Yeah, I need to, I'm going to do Fairfield February, and I'm really excited about that. I don't know if it'll be a new video every week in February, but I've been wanting to do like some edited videos on the Fairfield, because people who don't care to do live streams still want to know about the project, but they don't watch the live streams because they don't care for lives, which I totally understand. It's not for everybody, but I could do some edited videos so they could kind of catch up on the project. All right, so let me find my spot. Glue the smaller piece in front. Okay, cover larger piece with contrasting fabric and smaller piece with the fabric the same as the headboard. So which one's the smaller piece? Okay, so this piece, this is the B3 piece, or B1? No, B3. I'm getting confused here. All right, so I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Hi, Sasha. Did anyone do any craft shopping or anything on Cyber Monday? Yeah, did y'all get anything good? Let me make this a little bit more straight. All right, so after I do this headboard part, then we're going to move on to the body of the bed, which I'm really excited to see how it goes together. Oh, thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for the super chat. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that I fuse this or glue it to the larger headboard piece, which was B3. Then I can cut this out. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to cut along the edges like I have before. And then upholster this. So this is a lot of detail. I'm going to do all of the layers just because, you know, if someone's wanting to follow along with me, then I don't want to skip steps. But if you didn't want to do all of these details and you just wanted a more plain headboard, you could just do one of these decorative pieces, or you could do none of the decorative pieces and just have a solid color headboard. But this, I'll just do it how it was originally designed. So, got my little scrap pile over here. Upholster again. Let's see. Finally got my 3-2-1 blocks and some green stuff for sculpting. Yeah, do y'all have any miniature wish lists for Christmas? Each year I want to do like a gift giving guide for miniaturists, but then I end up like making Beetlejuice videos instead. And so, I mean, I think miniaturists pretty much know what they want. I mean, we watch craft videos all year long and we probably already have a list, but I had some like kind of off the wall ideas of things that would be good to give a miniaturist for Christmas. So I see that again, I'm just not in time for for Christmas. I just can't get it together in time for the holidays. Even now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, today is probably the day that I need to make sure I have everything on my calendar for my own personal, everything that's happening, like with the kids and all that kind of stuff. I've just kind of been doing other things and not even paying attention to the fact that everything's coming up real fast. Trying to figure out how to make some of the Whoville houses. I am a Grinch fanatic and I want to do a village for Christmas. You know what I have been seeing on TikTok and I have been thoroughly enjoying watching on TikTok is people going to see the Grinch instead of Santa. Oh my gosh, it is hilarious. And I guess it's the same guy that I've seen, or the same Grinch that I've seen every time, and he is so funny. And I don't know as a kid if I would have preferred that, but I think it would have been more fun. I don't know. TikTok is addictive. You're right. Okay, so I'm just going to clip the edges. So this is going pretty quick. Once you have it prepped and you've got everything out in front of you, it is going together fairly quickly. So this is the contrasting piece that will go like so. And I kind of like the circles. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's a little bit more 60s than 70s, but because this is the parents' bed, perhaps, you know, they they still have some bed linens from the 60s, and the teenagers room will have more of the 70s, like modern, the 70s, what am I trying to say? The current 70s look going to it. All right, so we'll put that piece there. Now, this piece is supposed to be the same as the headboard, and I guess it kind of, so that you just get like a little trim of it like this right here. So, all right, so now I need to find B4. So I already have this one done. And I just started pulling up the edges because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the wax paper off during the live stream. That'll be embarrassing. But I ended up figuring out a way to do it. So this is B4. I'm going to use a larger piece of this paper. Make sure I get it pretty much in the center. And then iron. Get it all ironed down. Watching while I work. I hope you're having a good work day. Let's see. Is the teenager a boy or girl? Just wondering how the decor will go. I'm not sure. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet. For some reason, I'm thinking teenage girl, just because I think that'll be a little bit more colorful. I mean, I don't know why I'm thinking that, but I guess because, well, let me tell you why. Because my mother was a teenager in the 70s, and I've seen a lot of her nostalgic items from the 70s. One of them is this big lap board that she used on her bed to like do her homework while she sat on her bed, and we still had that, and we used that for years. And so uh-oh, do I need to zoom in? Just let me know if I need to zoom in, Rhonda, so that you can see. I can zoom in, but I was trying to make sure we can see everything, but if you need me to zoom in, I can. But it's this big colorfully painted, like quilted looking butterfly, and it's the, here, let me zoom in. I see several of you saying that. Hold on, I gotta stand up for that. There we go. Is that better? Big colorful butterfly, and it's so 70s, and so I guess that's why I was thinking teenage girl, just because most of the nostalgic items I personally have seen have been my mother's, and obviously she was a teenage girl, so that's why I have that in my head. I don't think I have anything from my father being a teenager in the 70s. All right. Okay. I've got so detailed with the doors to my shop dollhouse that I've got loads to still do inside. Yeah, the more detailed it often is worth it in the end to go really detailed, but it does take forever. Quick question, I've always had issues with making things to scale. How do you make sure it's a fit to scale? Like if you're making an item from scratch, do you measure it a certain way? I would suggest going to my scale video, and I have a printout that you can print, and it has me in different sizes. And your brain is a pretty amazing machine that can pick up on scale really easily. And so if you make something and you want to know if it's in scale, I highly suggest putting a figure next to that item, and your brain will be like, either like something's not right or that looks correct. And so if you're not wanting to do a bunch of measuring and converting fractions, I highly suggest just putting the figure next to whatever you're making, even in a room. If you put a figure in a room, you can tell whether the room is oversized or not. And so if you are going like shopping for some dollhouse stuff, or you're going to a dollhouse show, you can take a figure with you, and or just like a little cutout, like one of the cutouts from my paper, and you can just you'll be able to tell. It's like your own like scale calculator in your head, but with your eyeballs. Okay. Yeah, the cardstock is much easier to get the upholstery to work with than the computer paper. So if you don't have cardstock, then I would suggest getting just some cereal box material and cutting that up and transferring the pattern to that at least, because then it'll make it so much easier to push the upholstery pieces over, especially if you're using the Wonder Under, because then you have to do the fabric. If you're not using the Wonder Under and you're just using glue, then you don't, I mean, it's a little bit easier. I'm just trying to keep my fingers out of the way of the iron because I don't want to be burnt. So. Thank you, Rachel, for posting the link to the video. Rachel put the link to the scale video if you want to check it out. We should post pics of Ara's scale photo in our scenes. It'd be funny to see all the places she's visited. It has been really fun to see my little figure show up every now and then, because sometimes it'll be on just a dollhouse forum. It's not even on my page. And I'll see me standing in the middle of a medieval castle or something, and it's been really fun to see. But I'm also just really excited to see that the scale figures are helping people, because I totally understand the not wanting to like mess with fractions all the time. Like I think there's definitely something to say for understanding how scale works, but at the same time it gets frustrating when you're trying to make something that's like, okay, so this is 9 feet 3 inches. Now what is it in 1/24 scale? And your brain's like, ah. But if you use a figure, it can kind of help you figure that out a little faster. All right, so this piece goes on top of here and it creates this little reveal, and then this piece goes like that, I believe. Yep. So let me show you on where we are on here. So we're at the bottom of the first column of directions, and we've been going for about an hour. But part of that was explaining how the fabric cutting directions worked. So I'm just going to glue this all together. If the glue will come out, that would be nice. There we go. Glue this all down. So I have a little bit of a reveal of the fabric that's going to be on the bedspread. And this is just kind of wild to me as like an amount of coordination that you have to have an upholstered headboard that matches your bedding. Like I've just always just like purchased whatever bedding that I like at the store, like according to how much I can afford, and like just having like everything matching. I'm like, that's so much coordination and time and planning, and I don't have that in me. All right, let's go all the way around. I'm going to glue this piece on. And glue that in the center. All right, now we have an upholstered headboard. And it says glue the headboard to the bed frame after the dust ruffle is in place. So I'm going to put this off to the side. And I'm going to put a 1, 2, 3 block on top so that it stays flat while it dries. I'm just sat marking out pieces for my dollhouse. I'm using a ruler and still can't do a straight line. Yeah, it's believe me, it's not just you. I was using this. Hold on, I can get it. I even have advanced rulers from my years in drafting. These triangles, and still, like, some of these, I was like, this is not a 90-degree angle once I had been done drawing it. So it's not just you. All right, so now we are on this column, bed frame. So I already have these pieces cut out. These are going to be cardstock pieces, and they are on this page of your pattern. So it's going to be this one and this one. And for a while, I was kind of confused on how this was going to make a bed. But basically, we're making a little box. So yeah, we're making a little box. So I already cut these pieces out, but I have not folded them yet. So we'll do that together. So there's BB1, which is the bottom bed frame, and then BB2, which is the top bed frame. And so as you can see, the top is a little bit bigger than the bottom. So that means that the top is going to be the top of the box, and the bottom is going to be the bottom. Peeling paper off foam board makes for a great surface to carve stone walls out. Definitely. Okay. All right. So here we go on, let me put my lid on my glue again. Folding. So glue in flaps first, then fold side flaps. What? Okay. All right. So I think I'm just going to kind of do what I think is right. We're just going to go with the flow. So I'm going to fold these in. These kind of look like my shipping boxes a little bit. Fold this in, and I think all of this that I'm about to do is just to create a lot of structure. So then we're going to fold this in again. So I folded this outer piece in here. So I'm going to fold this again, like so, and hold that down. So now I have one side. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Sorry if I'm missing questions. So now we have this, and then I'm going to fold these pieces in. These are going to be flaps that go inside the exterior fold. So fold in, fold in. So now, before I fold everything in, I'm going to fold this like so. But this side, once I put it up, this side is going to kind of engulf these two smaller flaps to create the edge of the box. Like that. So these are the two flaps where they're on the outside. And then I'm folding this in before I fold this line. Am I explaining this correctly? Oh my goodness. Hold on, I'm gonna make the fold this way. Okay. And then fold it in like this. I'll do it a little bit better on the other one. I'm kind of figuring out myself. So then it comes together and folds like this. All right, so let me do it again. I got to do it again on the second one, and I'll try to explain a little bit better. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold all of the dotted lines. I'm just going to do that first. Fold, fold. Just going to fold them all inwards towards the center. And then fold them back out. So I'm going to pre-fold all my lines like that. Fold, fold. I'm sure me saying fold every single time is helping so much. Then I'm going to fold it again. So I've pre-folded everything. Oh, nope, I haven't pre-folded the tabs. I've pre-folded everything on the dotted line. Anywhere there's a dotted line, I have folded the paper in towards the center. And then we are going to put it together. Okay, everything's pre-folded. I am going to fold this bit in right here, and that stays like that. So the two long sides get folded in. Then I can stand them up, and as I stand them up, these two smaller pieces are going to go towards each other, and then this piece here is going to flap over it and kind of engulf those two smaller pieces. Gluing as you go might help. I'm not gluing as I go, so that's why it's kind of fighting me. And then the same thing on this side. These pieces are going in like this. All right, so now we have the top bed frame and the bottom bed frame. Hope all of that made sense. All right. So then we have BB1 and BB2. And this is the lining for the top of the bed frame. And I think what it's doing is it's just giving some extra support because this is just cardstock. I'm actually going to glue this in, and this was fused or glued to the chipboard. So I'm going to glue this in. And it's just going to give strength to everything. It's going to help these flaps kind of stay in place. And then BB1, so this one goes in here. It's Friday in Bentley House Minis. Yes, it is. It did make sense. Okay, good. Been watching for about 30 minutes. I realize I haven't said hi to everyone. Hi, Cheryl. We are making a half scale bed, and we're just going step by step. I really hope we can get this done in the time frame of the stream. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. All right, so I'm just gluing those in place. This is going to make the them just a little bit more sturdy. All right, so now we have those glued in. Now we're going to get BB3. And this is BB3. I was very confused by this piece at the beginning. It's backed with the chipboard or cereal box material. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these on the dotted line, and this is going to kind of scrunch into the bed, and it becomes a support so the bed doesn't cave in on itself. So I'm going to fold like so. And it says to score it first. I'm obviously not doing that, which may be why it's frustrating a little bit, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. All right, so I'm going to fold like so. All right, so now it has this like triangle in the center, and this is what's going to be my support. And let's see, I need to put it into BB1. And as I put it in there, it will kind of pop up. And this becomes like a support beam in the center that will hold the top part up. If you can see that. When I glue it down, it'll stay down. It wants to pop up right now. Okay. Here we go. I glue this in. And then we're almost done with our bed frame. All right, so glue 2 boxes together, and then I need to glue the foam on top. All right, so now we are almost done with our bed piece. It says glue the boxes together. So the boxes do fit together really well. So if you're just looking for, I don't know, a nice little gift box, you could also use this pattern because it's actually coming together pretty nicely. I'm just going to add a little glue around the edges so that when I put this together, it will stay permanently shut. Oops, I'm going to knock over all my other glue. There we go. So now I have a little mattress shape, like so. All right. So where'd my headboard go? Oh, it's underneath the 1, 2, 3 block. So it's coming together kind of like this. So we're starting to see the bed shape a little bit. So that's exciting. It's exciting when you start to see the shape of what it's actually going to be. All right. Now we need to do the foam. So they say 1/4 inch thick foam. I'm not going to be doing 1/4 inch thick foam. I am just going to be using quilt batting, which is what I use all the time with my miniatures. Anything that needs to be soft and have upholstery, that's the way I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it on using the corner here. And I'm using my Fabrifix still. And I'm just going to cut it off at the edges because I think it's just supposed to go on the top. And then I can do that as many times as I want for as many layers. The foam that was suggested is 1/4 inch thick, so I'm going to do, I think, 3 more layers. And it's pretty easy to layer this stuff. It grabs hold pretty quick, especially if you're using the Fabrifix glue. So I just cut it off and then put it back on my quilt batting, like so. Oop, stuck to my scissors here. And then cut out. And so now I have 2 layers. Not quite 1/4 inch, so I'm going to do 1 more layer. We're all talking about lists of miniature groups. So there used to be a list through IGMA or IGMA. I heard someone say IGMA recently. I'd never heard anyone call it IGMA, but it's the International Guild of Miniature Artisans. So I don't know if they still have a list on their website, but there used to be one on their website, which makes sense because it's supposed to be international. Hopefully they would have a list all over the world, but I haven't been to their website in a while, so I'm not sure. All right, so that's about 1/4 inch, so I think I'm going to stop there. Love the nails. Thank you. I'm not really a glitter person, but I thought for Christmas I'd try some of this like glitter stuff that I have, and I'm actually kind of liking it. All right. So we have that part done. All right, where did I go? Cut a piece of muslin, 3 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Is that this piece? Let me see. 4 inches by, yeah, okay. And press to top and sides as shown. Cover the bottom of the bed with fused fabric, pressing and clipping as shown. Okay. All right, so now I need to focus because I'm kind of getting lost on what I need to do. So I think this muslin part goes on the top of the bed, and it says fuse it. It didn't tell me to pre-fuse this, So I'm just going to glue it down and hopefully that'll work. So I'm going to add glue to the sides. But again, if you have the Wonder Under material and you are not doing a live stream and have plenty of time, you can pretty much, I think, back anything with the Wonder Under stuff and, you know, not have to worry about using glue. So relaxing to watch you craft, yet exciting. I just started watching your stream as a little fall asleep too. Well, I'm still awake and can't stop watching. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Sometimes I wonder, like when I'm doing something that's so technical and following directions, if it'll be interesting at all. So I'm glad to hear that it is. So I'm just gonna kind of push this down. I guess this is just making the mattress looking part. I bought the polymer clay bundle kit from Arteza a couple of months ago that Ava showed in one of her videos. I still haven't worked up the courage to use it. Yeah, that one has so many colors. I still have so much of that left, but I really like the color variety. And it can be a little, like the clay material can be a little bit stiff, but I've noticed like I had some lighter colors in Sculpey 3. So Sculpey 3 is really soft and the Arteza clay was really stiff. So I ended up coloring some of the Sculpey 3 clay with the Arteza clay using all the colors that came in Arteza, and that really worked because the mixture of the two I thought made a really nice clay to work with, and I was able to get a really an interesting color, or a color I was going for. So I don't remember what I was doing that for. Oh, it was for the shrimp hands. I'm not sure I showed that in the video because I was like kind of scrambling to try and find a clay that worked. All right. So I've glued down all the sides with the glue. I'm not quite sure. I guess I'm just going to kind of do these like a present on the end. Put a little glue here. Press this down. And I know that it works with what I'm trying to say, tacky glue. You can use the iron and tacky glue to cure it immediately. Seems like it works somewhat with the Fabri-Tac, although the Fabri-Tac just takes hold, or the Fabri-Fix takes hold really, really quickly too. I'm gonna giggle if the skeleton's feet hang off the edge of the bed a little bit. My brother has that problem. I can't stop wondering if the mattress is gonna be long enough. It may not be long enough for them because they are not quite half scale. They look like they can work in half scale a little bit, but they're not quite half scale. So this has been the best Friday I've had for ages. Well, thank you for spending it with me, Nick. I am having a good Friday as well. Anytime I can be covered in glue making miniatures is a good Friday. All right, so I'm gonna fold these down. So this is the top of the mattress, and this is the muslin, which wasn't included in the kit, so I'm just using some white fabric because I didn't have any muslin left. And I think it's just so it covers up whatever foam you use, so you don't have that foam color coming through your fabric, whatever fabric you use on top, I think. I don't know. Okay, so now, where's the instructions? Now cover the bottom with the fused fabric, pressing and clipping as above. Okay, so this is the bottom. And the fused fabric, which fused fabric? Hold on. Bottom of mattress. solid fabric. There we go. I labeled it bottom of mattress. So this one is a 4x4. So this has the Wonder Under. There we go. Words come slowly. Words come slowly to me when I'm live streaming for some reason. Okay. Y'all are used to, if you're used to my edited videos, you're like, man, she talks, I mean, I don't talk quickly, but I talk a lot and I get my words somewhat okay during the voiceover because I can stop and go back and re-record, but can't do that on live stream. So you get to listen to me sit there and think through all the words in my head that I know that are not the words that I want. All right, so press the sides and clip the corners. Okay, so I'm trying to get this centered, and then I'm going to do this. I don't know, oh, you can't even see what I'm doing here. I don't know if you can tell, but this side immediately got darker. So this corner right here got just a little bit darker. You can almost not see it in person, so I'm not surprised you can't see it on the screen, but that's letting me know that the glue is melting and that it's holding on to the cardstock that is my bed frame. Let me see if I can show you. Can you see how it's just slightly darker? I mean, there's the shadow of the bed, but you can see how it's darker here and lighter here a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. I like to see people browsing my bookshelves. Fun to see what they're drawn to. Oh, y'all are talking about books. Yeah, my daughter recently, she was talking about how she preferred reading an actual book to reading on the iPad because she forgot a book that she was reading at my parents' house. And so we got it on a reading service. It wasn't through the library. It wasn't through Libby. It was through another service. We got like a free month of it or something. And it's so funny because I remember when like Kindle came out and it was like, wow, it's amazing. You can read on a tablet. You don't have to carry a book around with you. And now, like my daughter who has grown up on technology and doing schoolwork through technology and everything, she's like, I want to read the real thing. She's like, you know, reading on an iPad isn't so exciting anymore because they do it every day at school. All right, so I'm just going to take this over the sides like so. And then on the other side, I'm just pressing against the bottom and then around the sides. And it looks like I didn't get it super even, but that's okay because I think we're going to be covering this all up. What time is it? 30 minutes to finish the bed? I don't know if we can do this. We'll see. So I am going to kind of push this like this. And I guess I'm going to press the corners so that the corners touch each other. Oops, I'm not on my... Where did I put my... Oh, there it is. It's like, where'd my ironing board go? Bye, Sean. Yeah, so I'm just going to iron these edges together. And that's so that I can cut through it later and there won't be any gaps. So that's why I'm doing that. The iron is called a clover iron. Let me find the clover iron. And I think there's a link in the description, or there's a link to my tools list in the description box, and you can go find a link to all the tools that I like to use, and the clover iron is there. Because I use this for all sorts of things, especially doll clothes. but it has become really in handy for upholstery, because fabric does not like to behave in miniature at all. Fabric wants to be life-size scale. It does not want to be miniature scale. And so you have to force it to behave with lots of heat. Thank you, Rachel. I prefer the real thing, but ebooks and audiobooks are great for accessibility reasons, and they're a nice alternative in places where books are too expensive. Yes, I totally agree. And I actually feel like I get through more books because of audiobooks, because I can do things while I'm listening to them. And I have loved my Libby app, because I just hook it up with my library card and it's free. I mean, sometimes I have to wait, but it's free, and I have access to all the audiobooks that my library owns. And oh my gosh, it's my favorite thing ever. My favorite thing ever. All right, so I'm just gonna go around these corners, make sure everything's pressed down. All right, we have something that looks like a bed. So yeah, that's starting to look like a bed. All right, next thing. Oh, we have to do the ruffle, I think. All right, so here's where I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Deanne still sells on her website. She has something called the Pretty Pleat Pleater, which is a tool that she's sold for quite a while for miniaturists to make things like these miniature pleats. And it just makes pleating very, very easy and consistent. And she still sells them on her website. I do not have one, and so I have to make my own pleats. I might invest in one because this does look really even and it looks like it would be a really helpful thing to have. So if you're interested in doing a lot of pleated items like drapery or something, I think it would be helpful. Mine's going to look a little chaotic just because I don't have a pleater like the one that she suggests to use in this pattern. But apparently a lot of people have them. Like Liz says she has one. And yeah, like it's actually a tool that a lot of people have, which is really cool that she has that kind of legacy in the miniature community, that people still have her tool in their toolbox and it's like a commonly used tool. So let me figure out what I need to do. I need to find this piece. All right, so this is, okay, so I misplaced one of my pages. Here we go. Dust ruffle. This is where we're at. So the dust ruffle is 18 inches long by 1.5 inches. So that's how long it needs to be to pleat it and have it go all the way around. And so we want to make a 1/2 inch hem on one side and then use the pleater to make the pleats. Okie dokie. All right, so I'm going to start this and see how far we get with it. I'm going to make a 1/2 inch hem. So I'm just eyeballing it. This grid here is a 1/2 inch, so it's kind of easy to eyeball it with the grid in the background. I am just going to press it before I glue it. And I like to eyeball a lot of things, so I'm sure there are definitely people who are going to want to measure it, and that's totally fine. But I'm just going to do it this way. Being very careful not to get my fingers. Press the whole thing as I go along. Oh, Rachel, you have the pleater too? In our family, we joke that if something has writing on it, we read it. We love the written word. That's my father. My father will read everything. We've actually had museum exhibits close on him, and we've had to tell them our dad is still in there reading everything, and they've had to go get him because he will read every single word. If there is a word there, he will read it. He wants to know all the information, which I admire because I am a skimmer. I want the information and I want it quickly. I want to know, but I want to know it quickly. And so sometimes I end up missing out on some information because I'm skimming. All right, so I'm pressing this down. It's maybe a little less than a 1/2 inch, but it'll work, I think. There we go. Alrighty. Would a paper crimper work for pleating? I don't know. Maybe if you had some kind of starch in it already. I'm not quite sure if it's one of those like rolling pleaters. I don't think it would hold the crimp in it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to hold my hem. I'm just putting the tiniest bit of glue in there. I don't want it to seep through my fabric, so not too much. And then I am going to try to just do the pleats on my bed. So, sorry, Deanne, if you watch this, it may end up not looking super great, but we know that that's my fault and not her fault. It's not the kid's fault. It is my fault for just doing it this way. Okay, so all right, so she tells you how to use, so this information down here is how to use the pleater, and it shows you what pattern to do the pleats in. I don't have a pleater, so I'm skipping that part. And then, okay, so she tells you how to finish using it and then how to apply it. And then you glue it around the sides, and I guess you just line it up with the bottom of the bed. Yeah, okay. And you make sure, okay, so you start around the back of the bed. So I'm gonna try my best here. I'm just gonna try my best. And I'm gonna use tacky glue because I do know the tacky glue will take hold pretty quickly. So this is the top of the bed and the bottom. I have my hem. Facing inwards. And I'm gonna start at the back of the bed and I'm gonna put a little bit of tacky glue to hold it in place. Hello? Wake up, you're needed. Thank you. All right, now that's too much glue, but it's on the back. All right, hem in. And I'm just gonna use my iron to immediately cure that. See, it makes this ugly mark if you have too much glue on there. Like I said, it's on the back, so we're gonna be okay with that. Had a bit of creative block. This live stream has really rekindled it. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's sometimes, see, I've heard people have like not great feelings about kits and wanting everything to be like handmade. And, you know, I can at some point, you know, see like, okay, if you're making everything from scratch, there's definitely merit to that. But I think kits can sometimes just be so refreshing because you don't have to plan it out all yourself. And you get a little bit of somebody else's creativity, but you're still making something. And so that's why I like kits, because sometimes I just don't want to plan it out. I don't want to have to figure out all the measurements. I don't want to have to figure out all the numbers. I just want to make something. I just want to sit down and make something and have fun. So that's how I feel about kits. All right, so I did like an L shape around the corner of the bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of backtrack on it and just make like a fold. Like so. And then I'm going to get a toothpick and something to apply this glue, because the glue is coming out really thick. So I have this wax paper here. All right, so we're going to run out of time to finish this bed. So I would love y'all's opinion on, do we continue this in another live stream, or do you want me to finish this in like one of the Fairfield videos where it's like a finished produced video where I show, you know, parts of what we did in this live stream and then finish it up, and then maybe make another piece of furniture in that video? Let me know your thoughts, because I don't think we're going to finish this, even with all my prep work. I don't think we're going to finish this in time for the end of the live stream. And I do have to run a couple errands today, so let me know your thoughts. What do you think we should do? All right, so I've laid that piece down, and now it's just going like back and forth in kind of a zigzag pattern. And that's if you want really, really uniform looking handmade pleats. Either way is fine. I think finishing in a finished Fairfield video, finish it in another live stream, whichever you want. Kits are great when you have creative block. It helped me get back to minis when I was struggling. Yeah, I totally agree, because then it's just the act of creating that becomes like really fun. All right, so these are going to be like, you can do smaller pleats or you can do larger pleats. So I just folded this back again. So you just keep going and folding. And sometimes they'll end up even. Mine usually don't end up that even, but it's okay. So I'm going to add some glue here. And it's just adding glue as you go. More glue and more glue and more glue and more glue. So I'm sure using the pleater goes a lot faster. But luckily this is kind of a small bed, so. And any place I'm not going to see but I want the fabric to lay flat, that's where I'm adding glue. Just making sure not to add too much so it doesn't go through the fabric. And this will be covered by a bedspread, so I'm really trying to make sure the hem, doing the 1/2 inch hem kind of helps make sure that no glue is going to show up through that bottom part of the fabric. That's why it's only showing up through the top. You want to see the skeleton on the bed? Okay, we'll make sure and put the skeleton on the bed before the end of the stream. All right, so I'm just going to kind of show you what it probably will end up looking like. So I just keep going, and then we'll just have a pleated look that goes all the way around the base of the bed, like so. So that's how that goes. Let me see what else. All right, so actually after we do the dust ruffle, all we have left to do is the top part. I just don't think I have time to do the dust ruffle. I could do a very fast dust ruffle if you want me to use hot glue. It's this process that takes so long. Who wants me to use hot glue? Although I do want it to look nice, so I think let's see. What do we want to do? I want to do the dust ruffle the right way. So I'm going to let's do the top cover. There we go. Let's do the top cover, and then we'll show the skeleton on the bed. Will you be doing prompts in the new year? I really enjoy them. Yes, I'm hoping to do a prompt pretty early in 2022. They're going to kind of be filler videos because Beetlejuice is taking so much time, and the captain's quarters, I really want to get far on it. So they've kind of become filler videos, and I've just had so many videos to do that they've just kind of gotten pushed out of the schedule. But I do want to do another one soon, so I promise. Okay, let's do the top cover if we can. And what's really nice is on here, this is drawn to scale. Let me find the right fabric. Is that the right one? Nope, it's this one. This is drawn pretty close to scale, I guess. Right? Where's my cutting list? Bedspread. Yeah, this is the bedspread piece. So even if it's not all the way to scale, it's pretty close, so you can kind of see how it needs to look. So cut fabric to cut piece and iron on muslin. Okay, so it wants me to measure something. My brain is starting to not work anymore. All right, let's see. Cut fabric 3 1/4 by 5. What? Did I cut this wrong? Oh, I did 4 by 6. I guess I cut out the size wrong. So I'm gonna cut it to the right size, I guess. So 3 1/4. Cut out the fabric the wrong size. That's why I was getting confused. Sorry about that. So 3 1/4. Because I was thinking, I was like, it does seem like it would be the correct, like, life-size pattern on the paper. So why is my fabric so big? Because I cut it to the wrong size. So 3 1/4 by 5. By 5 inches. So this is how I figured out all my fabric pieces, is just by using a ruler and trying my best to cut out the right sizes, which apparently I didn't quite get right. So here we go. Cutting along those pencil lines. So does it fit now? There we go. Now it's the right size. So it does tell you where to cut your fabric. Right here. Because one side is going to be the bolster and one side is going to be the blanket. My brain really is fried. Okay, but it says to do that after the lace is applied. I don't have any lace. So maybe I will have to do that in the future because we are almost out of time, and I told you I would show you the skeletons. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of this in a edited video. And so you'll kind of see a summary of what I did here, but you can always go back and see more detailed clips or more detailed information by coming back to Livestream. And then I'll do it in an edited video so that you can kind of see how I finished it up, because I think everything else is pretty straightforward. Oh, but then we also have the back of this. Maybe I do need to do it in another live stream so we can do the back of this. Because I was like, oh, we're almost done with the bed, but we're not. Because there's this whole canopy. Okay, sorry. Ara has gone offline. Okay. I don't know what that was. Let me find skeleton real quick. Skeleton. Oh. All right, here's my little skeleton. Let's see if he fits on the bed. He already looks too long for the bed. But this is a half-scale bed, and the skeleton is slightly over half-scale. Because a typical, like a half-scale 6-foot human would be 3 inches. So 1, 2. So he's just a little taller than 6 foot. So he's maybe a 6'5". He's 6'5". So his feet definitely dangle off the side of the bed here. So this is as far as we got. But I think we got a lot of just knowing how everything goes together out of the way. And I got a lot more into knowing what the kit wants me to do because I hadn't put any of it together yet. And we still have all these pattern pieces to put together. So, okay. I have changed my mind because I forgot how much we have left to do. I will do another live stream over this bed because y'all do have the pattern. I want to make sure that you can use it if you want to, and you can see how this all goes together. So, what about Lily? Is that what we're naming the little one? It's so cute. So this would make a good kid-size bed for the skeletons. I mean, I would probably fit a half-scale actual doll, but yes, there are pillows. There is information for pillows, so we'll probably make some pillows in the next stream. So yeah, I guess that's a good idea. See, Marcia said she's downloaded the pattern and we'll catch up for next time. So if you do want to follow along, you can go ahead and get to this point for next time if you want to, or you can jump ahead and you can give me tips as I figure it out during the live. But so far it's going together really well. I'm just going to put this all in a box so that I know I have everything for next time. So let's see. All right. Oh man. Okay. That was a little stressful. Oh yeah, we were gonna do a grade. So after all my studying, what kind of grade do I get for my test? For getting everything together. I will have the pleats done for next time though. So I will make sure the pleats are done. So the next stream will be in January of 2022, which is amazing. And we will finish the bed, putting it together, and yeah. We might even like make a little, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if we have time, might make a little something like a nightstand or something, but we'll see. So, well, thank y'all for being here. Thank you so much. Yay, I got an A. Till we meet again, chat soon. Thank you. Thank y'all for being here. I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you in the next video, which will be my last video for the year, which will come out next week, where I am making the Beetlejuice sculptures. I'm so excited for that. Thank you to Rachel for helping me with the stream. Thank you to Kim for the pattern. Thank you to Kim for the material. And big thank you to Deanne for allowing me to share the pattern. Again, I appreciate that so much. That's amazing, generous gift for everyone here on Bentley House Minis. So definitely appreciate that. Everyone have a great weekend, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.